Hey Bougie, click. Are you being misled by a bitter toxic misandrist and femmophobic? Is this woman claiming to have pretty privilege but hates men and wants to disentangle them? Women who experience pretty and feminine privilege often receive positive attention and treatment from men. Attractive women often receive compliments, gifts, and other forms of positive reinforcement from men, which can create a sense of appreciation and affection. Pretty privilege can lead to better job opportunities, promotions, and social advantages. Of course, pretty privilege has its downsides, but it mostly comes with significant advantages. That's why it's called a privilege. Misandry and Femmephobia, bitter toxic women. A privilege is a special right, advantage, or immunity granted to a particular person or group. So why would someone with a privilege hate the people who grant them that privilege? And if you don't like having pretty privilege, why not downplay your appearance? You can dress down, opt for more casual, less form-fitting clothing. Avoid styles that highlight your figure or draw attention. Use minimal or no makeup to create a more natural look. This can help reduce the emphasis on your features. Choose simple, low-maintenance hairstyles that don't draw much attention. Wear neutral or muted colors instead of bright or bold ones, which can make you stand out less. Also, adopting a more reserved posture and body language can also affect how you are perceived. I am a light-skinned multiracial woman with mid-back length 4A/4B hair. I often get told I look like Aaliyah, Ming Lee Simmons, or Cassie. People always mistake me for being Blasian or Filipino. I am 5 feet 5 inches, around 115 pounds, and I am considered slim and curvy. I have always received positive attention and treatment from good-looking high-value men. Certainly, there have been occasions where unattractive, low-value, financially unstable men with questionable character who failed to win my affection have shown me negative attention. However, their actions were not significant enough to make me despise or generalize all men. Whenever unattractive men have treated me poorly, there has always been an attractive, high-value man present to counteract it or offer protection. Most of my negative attention and treatment comes from unattractive masculine women, not men. Pretty privilege mostly comes from the male gaze, while pretty disadvantages often come from the female gaze. Women who don't conform to conventional standards of beauty or femininity may experience social marginalization. Social marginalization refers to the process by which certain individuals or groups are pushed to the edges of society, limiting their access to resources, opportunities, and social networks. Social marginalization often involves stigmatization and discrimination, where marginalized individuals are unfairly judged or treated based on their characteristics, like unattractiveness. This can lead to feelings of resentment and bitterness towards those who do benefit from these privileges. This resentment can manifest as femmephobia, disdain for femininity, and misandry, disdain for men, as a way to cope with their own perceived disadvantages. Women who exhibit bitter or toxic behavior may do so for various reasons, including past traumas, societal pressures, or personal experiences of discrimination. This behavior can sometimes be a defense mechanism or a way to cope with unresolved issues. Misandry, or the prejudice against men, can sometimes be a reaction to negative experiences with men or patriarchal systems. Women who have faced abuse, discrimination, or other forms of mistreatment might develop negative attitudes toward men as a group. This can manifest as bitterness or toxic behavior, particularly if they feel unsupported or invalidated by society. For women, internalized femmephobia can lead to the rejection of traditionally feminine traits and roles, which are often seen as weak or inferior. This internal conflict can contribute to toxic behavior, as women might struggle with societal expectations and their own identities. Both misandry and femmephobia can be responses to discrimination. Women who face constant devaluation might develop negative attitudes toward men and traditional femininity, leading to behaviors that are perceived as toxic. Being conventionally attractive means having physical features that align with widely accepted beauty standards in a given society. These standards can vary across cultures and time periods, but here are some common traits often associated with conventional attractiveness. Facial symmetry. Symmetrical faces are often perceived as more attractive because they are subconsciously associated with good health and genetics. Clear skin. Healthy, clear skin is a universal sign of attractiveness, indicating good health and hygiene. Fit physique. A well-proportioned and fit body is often considered attractive, as it suggests physical health and vitality. Well-groomed appearance. Good grooming, including neat hair and clean, well-fitted clothing, enhances attractiveness by showing attention to personal care. Expressive eyes. Eyes that are bright and expressive can be very appealing, often seen as windows to one's emotions and personality. Warm smile. A genuine, warm smile can significantly enhance attractiveness by conveying friendliness and approachability. Charismatic personality. Beyond physical traits, a charismatic and confident demeanor can greatly contribute to one's overall attractiveness. These traits are often highlighted in media and popular culture, shaping societal perceptions of beauty. Misandry is defined as the dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against men. The term comes from the Greek words misos, hatred, and aner, andros, man. Here are some key points about misandry. Definition: misandry refers to the hatred, dislike, or mistrust of men. Usage: the term is often used to describe attitudes or behaviors that are prejudiced against men or boys. Context: while misandry can exist on an individual level, it lacks the institutional and systemic support that misogyny, hatred of women, has in many societies. Here are some examples of misandry. Negative stereotypes. Statements like men only think with their dicks or men are just womanizers perpetuate harmful stereotypes about men. Dismissive attitudes. Comments such as a man wouldn't understand or men just want a hole to put it in dismiss men's perspectives and reduce them to simplistic desires. Microaggressions. Phrases like be a man or men can't hear the word no, when rejected sexually, are subtle ways of undermining men. Systemic issues. Social problems like higher suicide rates among men, shorter lifespans, and the requirement for men to participate in military drafts are also considered forms of misandry. The link between toxic misandry and former pick-me women can be quite complex. Here's a breakdown. Definition of pick-me. A pick-me woman is someone who seeks male approval by putting down other women or conforming to traditional gender roles in an exaggerated way. This behavior often stems from a desire to be seen as different or better than other women in the eyes of men. Transition to misandry. Some women who were once pick-me may become disillusioned with the approval they sought from men. This disillusionment can lead to resentment and, in extreme cases, toxic misandry. They might feel betrayed or undervalued by the very men they sought to impress. Reaction to personal experiences. Personal negative experiences with men, such as betrayal, abuse, or consistent disrespect, can fuel this transition. The shift from seeking approval to harboring resentment can be a coping mechanism for dealing with these experiences. Cultural and social influences. Exposure to feminist ideologies and discussions about gender equality can also influence this shift. While feminism advocates for equality, some individuals might misinterpret or take extreme stances, leading to toxic misandry. Internal conflict. The transition from a pick-me to someone with misandrist views often involves internal conflict. These women might struggle with reconciling their past behaviors with their current beliefs, leading to heightened emotions and extreme views. Understanding this link involves recognizing the personal and societal factors that contribute to such shifts in attitudes. It's important to approach these discussions with empathy and a focus on promoting healthy, respectful relationships between all genders. When you consistently give more than you receive in relationships, it can lead to several negative emotions and dynamics. Resentment. Over time, you might start feeling unappreciated or taken for granted. This resentment can build up, leading to anger and frustration. Emotional exhaustion. Constantly giving without receiving can leave you feeling drained and depleted. This lack of reciprocity can affect your overall well-being and happiness. Decreased self-esteem. Feeling unappreciated can impact your self-worth. You might start questioning your value and whether you're worthy of receiving love and care in return. Obligation and guilt. On the flip side, the person receiving more might feel guilty or indebted, which can create stress and discomfort in the relationship. Breakdown of relationship. If the imbalance isn't addressed, it can lead to a breakdown in the relationship. Open and honest communication is crucial to restoring balance and ensuring both parties feel valued and respected. Toxic misandry refers to extreme and harmful attitudes or behaviors that express hatred, contempt, or prejudice against men. Here are some key aspects. Negative stereotyping. This includes broad generalizations that portray all men as inherently bad, such as labeling all men as violent, untrustworthy, or incapable of emotional depth. Vilification. This involves demonizing men or portraying them as the root cause of societal problems without acknowledging individual differences or the complexity of social issues. Discrimination. This can manifest in policies or practices that unfairly disadvantage men, such as biased family court decisions or workplace policies that do not consider men's needs. Cultural narratives. Media and cultural narratives that consistently depict men in a negative light contribute to toxic misandry. This can include movies, TV shows, or articles that reinforce negative stereotypes about men. Social exclusion. Excluding men from conversations about gender equality or dismissing their experiences and perspectives can also be a form of toxic misandry. Toxic misandry can sometimes intersect with negative attitudes toward stay-at-home moms and wives. Here are some ways this manifests. Stereotyping and dismissal. Stay-at-home moms and wives are often stereotyped as lazy, unambitious, or dependent. This dismissive attitude can be a form of toxic misandry, as it devalues the important work they do in managing households and raising children. Cultural narratives. Media and societal narratives sometimes portray stay-at-home moms as less valuable or less capable than working women. This can contribute to a culture that undervalues their contributions and reinforces negative stereotypes. Judgment and criticism. Stay-at-home moms and wives may face judgment from others who believe they are not contributing to society in meaningful ways. This criticism can be rooted in toxic misandry, as it often stems from a lack of understanding and appreciation for the diverse roles women can choose. Economic disadvantages. Stay-at-home moms often face economic disadvantages, such as lack of financial independence and reduced career opportunities. These challenges can be exacerbated by societal attitudes that devalue their work. It's important to recognize and challenge these harmful attitudes to promote a more inclusive and respectful society. Supporting stay-at-home moms and wives involves acknowledging the value of their contributions and advocating for policies that provide them with greater support and opportunities. Toxic misandry can sometimes intersect with negative attitudes towards feminine women. Here are some ways this manifests. Stereotyping and dismissal. Feminine women, who may embrace traditional gender roles or characteristics, can be stereotyped as weak, submissive, or lacking ambition. This dismissive attitude can be a form of toxic misandry, as it devalues their choices and contributions. Cultural narratives. Media and societal narratives sometimes portray feminine women as less capable or less valuable than those who adopt more traditionally masculine traits. This can contribute to a culture that undervalues their contributions and reinforces negative stereotypes. Judgment and criticism. Feminine women may face judgment from others who believe they are not contributing to society in meaningful ways. This criticism can be rooted in toxic misandry, as it often stems from a lack of understanding and appreciation for the diverse roles women can choose. Internalized misogyny. Some women may internalize these negative attitudes and project them onto other women, perpetuating a cycle of judgment and criticism. This can be particularly harmful as it reinforces societal pressures and limits women's choices. Addressing these harmful attitudes involves promoting mutual respect and understanding, challenging harmful stereotypes, and fostering inclusive conversations about gender roles and expectations. Femmephobia, which is the fear or hatred of femininity. This can manifest in various ways, such as criticizing women for embracing traditionally feminine traits or roles, devaluing feminine qualities and traits and considering them inferior to masculine traits, policing other women's behavior to conform to certain standards that reject femininity, discriminating against individuals who present as feminine, regardless of their gender. Upholding stereotypes that view femininity as weak or inferior. Femmephobia can affect anyone who expresses femininity, including women, men, and non-binary individuals. It often stems from societal norms that prioritize masculinity and devalue feminine qualities. Here are some common traits and behaviors associated with femmephobic women. Rejection of traditional femininity. They may avoid or criticize behaviors, interests, or appearances traditionally associated with femininity, such as wearing makeup, dresses, or engaging in activities deemed girly. Internalized misogyny. Femmephobic women might exhibit internalized misogyny, showing disdain for other women who embrace femininity. This can include belittling or shaming women for being too emotional, nurturing, or appearance-focused. Gender policing. They often police gender norms, criticizing others for not conforming to their own standards of what is acceptable for women. Pressure to conform. They may feel intense pressure to be less feminine in various aspects of their lives, such as at work, in sports, or in social settings, to be taken more seriously or to fit in. Association with weakness. Femmephobic women might associate femininity with weakness or inferiority, believing that adopting more masculine traits will earn them more respect or power. The relationship between feminism and femmephobia is quite intricate. Here are some key points to consider. Cultural devaluation of femininity. Feminism aims to challenge and dismantle patriarchal structures that devalue femininity. Femmephobia, on the other hand, perpetuates the idea that femininity is inferior or less valuable. This devaluation can occur both within and outside feminist movements. Internalized misogyny. Some feminists may struggle with internalized misogyny, which can manifest as femmephobia. This can lead to the devaluation of feminine traits even within feminist circles. The connection between unattractive women who lack pretty or feminine privilege, femmephobia, and misandry can be understood through several psychological and social dynamics. Social marginalization. Women who don't conform to traditional standards of beauty or femininity may experience social marginalization. This can lead to feelings of resentment and bitterness towards those who do benefit from these privileges. This resentment can manifest as femmephobia, disdain for femininity, and misandry, disdain for men, as a way to cope with their own perceived disadvantages. Internalized misogyny. Internalized misogyny can play a significant role. Women who have absorbed societal messages that devalue femininity might reject feminine traits in themselves and others. This rejection can extend to men, especially if they perceive men as reinforcing these societal standards. Defense mechanism. Adopting femmephobic and misandrist attitudes can serve as a defense mechanism. By rejecting femininity and expressing disdain for men, these women might feel they are protecting themselves from the pain of not meeting societal standards. Competition and comparison. In environments where women feel they must compete for attention, resources, or validation, those who don't have pretty or feminine privilege might develop femmephobic and misandrist attitudes as a way to undermine their perceived competition and to cope with their own insecurities. Cultural and environmental influences. Cultural and environmental factors play a significant role. In cultures that heavily emphasize traditional femininity and male dominance, women who don't conform may develop femmephobia and misandry as reactions to the pressure and expectations placed upon them. Certain psychological and social dynamics explain how attractive women can exert influence over others. Here are some factors that might contribute to this kind of influence. Physical attractiveness. Physical beauty can be a powerful tool of influence. Attractive individuals often receive more attention and are perceived more positively, which can make others more willing to comply with their requests. Charisma and charm. Beyond physical appearance, charisma and charm play significant roles. People who are known to be charismatic can make people feel special and valued, increasing their willingness to do favors. Manipulative tactics. Some individuals use manipulative tactics, such as flattery, emotional appeals, or playing on insecurities, to get what they want. This can involve creating a sense of dependency or obligation in others. Psychological vulnerability. people who are emotionally or psychologically vulnerable are more susceptible to manipulation. Authority and confidence. Displaying confidence and a sense of authority can also make others more likely to follow. When someone appears to know what they want and how to get it, others may be more inclined to go along with their plans. Empathy plays a crucial role in influencing others by fostering connection, understanding, and trust. Empathy helps in building strong relationships by showing genuine care and understanding. When people feel understood and valued, they are more likely to trust and be influenced by you. Leaders who demonstrate empathy can motivate and inspire their teams more effectively. Empathy helps in understanding what drives individuals, allowing leaders to provide the right support and encouragement. Overall, empathy acts as a psychological superglue that connects people and underpins cooperation and kindness. It is a powerful tool for anyone looking to influence others. Empathy is often considered a feminine trait due to societal and cultural associations with traditional gender roles. Empathy, along with traits like nurturing, kindness, and expressiveness, is frequently linked to femininity in many cultures. These traits are often encouraged and valued in women from a young age. Research indicates that women tend to rate themselves higher in empathy compared to men, partly due to gender role expectations. These expectations can shape how individuals perceive and express empathy. Femmephobia can stem from internalized misogyny, where women devalue traits associated with femininity, including empathy. This internal conflict can lead to a suppression of empathetic behaviors as a way to distance themselves from what they perceive as weaknesses. Some men have been bad to me, but so have some women, and if I had to quantify it, I would say I have had more negative experiences with women because of my pretty privilege than men. However, I would never say dissenter women. Writing a whole group of people off because of a few bad ones is childish and lacks accountability. Accountability refers to the obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions and to explain or justify them. It involves being answerable to someone for the outcomes of your actions. In simpler terms, it's about taking ownership of what you do and being transparent about it. Often women who lack accountability want you to believe it's all men while negating the fact that some women are just as bad. Women who mistreat other women or men can contribute to a toxic environment just as much as anyone else. While some people might generalize their negative experiences to an entire group, it's crucial to remember that both men and women can exhibit problematic behaviors. What do you think? Are you being misled by a bitter toxic misandrist and femophobic? Let me know in the comment section. Stay bougie.